Hey, Granny Gear here for Old Guy on a Bike. On this really quick Tech Tuesday, we're going to be talking about knee bones, ankle bones, thigh bones, and how that's all connected together and how that relates to making changes to the fit of your bicycle. Here we go. First of all, a shout out to the people in my life who love me and got me this really cool hat with my channel's name on it. Isn't that boss? Thank you, special people in my life. All right, so let's talk a little bit about making changes to your bike and how ankle bones, knee bones, and thigh bones all fit into that equation, right? So you ever heard the song, the ankle bone's connected to the shin bone's connected to the thigh bone and knee bone, or, all those bones are connected. And what they're saying is, right, kind of like if you relate it to a bicycle, if you change one thing on your bike, well, sometimes that affects all kinds of other things. So here's a couple little pearls of wisdom for you, because I've been on my Time 80HX, I've been a-changing things. And I've gone through this process now. I'm kind of still going through the process. It all started with a handlebar, and it's ended up with a whole new seat position and a new pedaling style. Isn't that crazy? To begin with, when you make a change, it will almost always affect something else. Case in point, in a recent video, I talked about where I went to a narrower handlebar. I went from a 44 centimeter bar on my Time 80HX road bike to a 42 because I had just come to the impression that my hands were just too far apart, so to speak, and there were some comfort and performance issues I was looking to maybe tweak. Well, when I changed the bar, it worked. I achieved what I wanted. I feel better, especially on those long flat stretches of road or when I'm putting power down. Yeah, really happy about that. However, when I did that, my hands moved closer together, right? When that happened, I felt like I sat up more upright more because now I'm not reaching as far forward. Also, the handlebar itself and the geometry of it had less reach. In other words, from the stem line out to where the controls mount, it was shorter than the handlebar replaced by almost 10 millimeters. Well, that means not only did I sit up closer because my hands are not now so splayed apart, I shortened the handlebar, so I felt cramped. Well, I had a new stem on order. I would have had to gone 10 millimeters up in the stem. But you know what? I thought, what if I drop the handlebar instead? Can I run a lower handlebar now that I'm closer? Well, it's easier to drop the handlebar than it is to go buy a new stem. Lowered the handlebar by 10 millimeters. Hey, I'm not cramped anymore. Awesome. Except now, for some reason, my seat doesn't seem like it's quite in the right position anymore. And one thing led to another, because as I changed one thing, it changed another. The end result, my handlebar is narrower. It's about 10 millimeters lower. My saddle is about 5 millimeters further forward and 5 millimeters higher. And I adjusted the tilt by taking the nose up ever so slightly. Isn't that amazing? And now I've also been working on a new pedaling style. I'll talk about that maybe at some time. I'm no cycling coach, and now I'm getting muscles that are a little bit sore in places they weren't before, because that's one of the other effects of changing something. And that brings me up to the second point of this little Tech Tuesday. If you're going to make a change only one thing at a time, and then go ride your bike, see how it's worked out. Why would you do that? Well, when I changed my handlebar position and went it narrower and made it lower, I had to work through a little bit. It was a little more strain on my neck being down that low, but I've been working on stretching and some strengthening and whatnot. And so I'm working through that, and that's going away. It feels actually really good right now. When I changed my seat position, I started using muscles a little bit differently, different muscles differently, so to speak. And I got a little soreness. But here's the thing. If you change more than one thing at a time and something bothers you, maybe not just soreness, maybe it causes some pain, okay? A knee problem, a hip problem, an ankle problem, whatever. Which one of those things have you changed? If you changed multiple things, is the culprit. You change your cleats at the same time you move your saddle, and now it hurts a little bit, or doesn't feel good, or doesn't feel right. Well, now you don't know which one of those things was causing the problem, or both of them in combination. So here's the little bits of wisdom. When you change one thing, it affects other things. That can be expected, and that's okay. Just be ready for it. And the second thing is, if you are making changes to the fit of your bike, try and change one thing at a time, and we'll ride for a little while, and then experience it, and then make the second change. And that way you have a lot more control, understanding what went wrong if something does go wrong, or for that matter, what went right. And one caveat to that, sometimes you may have to make two changes at once. For instance, I moved my seat forward, and since I know my seat height was correct, I had to move my saddle up, okay? Because as you get forward over the crank, it effectively shortens your reach to the crank, and so now you need to move your saddle up a little bit. So sometimes you might have to do two things at once, but generally speaking, it's best to do one thing at a time. All right, that's it. Real quick Tech Tuesday. I'm just out here spinning wrenches and catching up with projects. And I thought I would film that real quick because it's been a little journey on this, and it's interesting for me, because I'm a pretty experienced cyclist. And you'd think, geez, Granny Gear, when you built the bike up, didn't you get it right? Well, I thought I did, but you know what? I've been changing things. The narrower bar, this right now, my bar drop, the amount of bar I have below the saddle is lower than I've had, I think, probably any road bike that I've ever had. Wow, and I'm getting older. Usually, aren't you supposed to get your handlebars higher when you're getting older? Not necessarily. I've been working on that. I've been working through all kinds of personal therapy and exercises and stretching routines and things. And by golly, I think this old guy is getting more limber. I don't know. Maybe I'm just delusional. Well, maybe it's the hat working on me. You guys have a great week and or weekend. And as always, you go ride your bikes.